Hello and welcome to this week's Modern Toy Fair News, the weekly show that talks about toys. And this week I have a very special guest with me, my close personal friend who also is a part of Media Junkie and Fanboy Fight Club and all the lovely podcasts over there. Wes, how are you this week, Wes?
I'm great, buddy. How are you?
I'm pretty good. People have noticed, Jamar is still missing. He's on paternity leave because he had to go and have a goddamn kid. Shame on him. But he'll hopefully be back at some
I
point
don't
in
know.
the
They give those
future.
things
Or
for
he'll
free, I
just
guess.
What's that? Uh-oh. Did something happen to you? You're frozen. Are you there?
There, I'm back.
Okay. Froze
I
on me for a little bit.
I tried to message you, and I had no Wi-Fi, so I had to switch to LTE, and it's just not sent.
Yeah, all of a sudden you just like froze, and I'm like, oh fuck. I thought it was me
Hopefully,
for a second there.
hopefully it was a face like this.
No, is this you contemplating as you stared at your mic like you just couldn't figure out what to say? So, if this is your first time tuning into the show, the way it works is we go down the weekly news that I deemed worthy of our fine establishment, and then we do weekly purchases, and then we wrap everything up and send you on your way after wasting an hour of your life. So we're going to get right into it with what has basically become the Mcfarlane Toys Power Hour, kicking off the show this week. So this week, not as much as we have the past few weeks. We've gotten some new glamour shots, and some. He actually showed them off on a live video, but it was low quality, so no one cares about that. But the 7-inch DC Multiverse line. We have new figures. We have Batman the Drowned from the Dark Knight's Metal. We have Red Sun Superman, Damian Wayne Robin, and the Dark Knight Death Metal Batman to go along with the weird death metal bone motorcycle they showed off a few weeks back. And in the live video, they did actually show it like him and the motorcycle side by side to show that they scale well together. No pre-orders or anything yet, but expect these to hit stores sometime in January of 2021. So personally, out of these, I kind of want Red Sun, and as much as I didn't think I needed it, I kind of like the death metal Batman. Like he looks pretty badass.
Well, Death Metal Batman has always looked badass, so I'd be excited to get a toy of him. And me personally, I'm a huge fan of Damian Wayne.
Hmm.
Like I liked that comic book run a lot before they killed him off, and then I stopped reading and blah blah blah. Blah. They bring him back, comics. So I would totally buy Damian Wayne Robin.
Yeah, and the thing about Damian Wayne, so everyone's been kind of speculating at how tall he's gonna be. Like people are full going like Sherlock Holmes on this. There's someone who like measured the size of the box, and it's like it's 10 inches. So if you take inch squares, he's this tall. And then there's some people who like went and basically compared how much of the box he fills versus how much like the normal 7-inch figures fill, and tried to figure out that way. So right now the guesstimate's between like 5.5 to 6 inches, which only being an inch shorter than the rest of the line. Not sure if that makes him like teenage size or not.
I'm not too sure. I mean, how tall are teenagers? I was a teenager once.
I was too. It was quite some time ago. But I he just in the comics even despite the fact that he's clearly like a teenager, he just always seems like he's like maybe 4 feet tall at best compared to everyone else.
He's very small in the comic book, yeah.
Yeah.
And the
So I'm.
toy he looks small as far as the toy goes, but
Mhm.
only an inch shorter is kind of weird.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. That the person who figured out that he's like 5.5 inches tall might be a little more on spot because he looks a lot smaller than 6 inches in that picture.
Hmm.
But I'll definitely get Red Sun Superman. I'm a I'm a strong maybe for death metal Batman. I guess it depends if I find him and the bike, then I might have to do it.
I like Red Sun Superman's dark suit. I think it just looks good.
Yeah, like that dark gray with the black and the
Yeah.
darker red. It definitely goes well together.
Not a Superman fan, but I mean, it's a sexy toy.
I'm the same way. I'm usually not a Superman fan until you turn Superman evil, and then suddenly I'm interested. Like
So
Justice
you're
Lord's Superman, Red Sun Superman, like
Mhm.
even like back when like Darkseid turned him, like I'm all for it. He's just kind
Yeah.
of bland when he's a good guy.
So when they make a Homelander toy, you're going to be all there for it, right?
Oh yeah, actually talked about this a few weeks ago. NECA picked up the license for those, and the
Mhm.
first two figures are Homelander and Starlight. And I'm like, well, I'm buying Homelander. That's guaranteed.
I'd buy a Homelander in a heartbeat. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, especially because I'm pretty sure they confirmed it's a cloth like cape and everything. So like they're going all out.
It's awesome.
Speaking of NECA, that leads us into the next story. So great segue there by accident,
I'm a great co-host or
right?
guest host, whatever you want to call me.
Guest co-hosts,
Guest
new
co-host.
Jamar,
I'll take new Jamar.
new Jamar. Um, NECA showed off some stuff this week. The first being Biff from the Ultimate Back to the Future 7-inch line, and he's set to come out with, I believe, here in the next month or so. I actually technically the next week because he's supposed to be set in September. Um, he comes with the sports almanac, the receipt for his car repairs, and the case that he keeps his Olala girly mag in, along with interchangeable hands and heads. And he is available for pre-order from Big Bad Toy Store, and he's $29.99. And like I said, he's set for September, so I assume check your Targets or Walmarts here in the coming weeks, assuming that he's actually ready to release.
Yeah, he'll be probably a surprise drop. Are they giving release dates for anything anymore?
It's very hit or miss. Like some things, like it seems like Ninja Turtles, they avoid release dates like they're the plague now. But like some of the other things, like Randy will just tweet like, "Oh yeah, that's going to be out in a week or so," or "Oh yeah, that's coming in this month." Just because I feel like the fans for those other properties aren't as hardcore as the Turtle fans, so they aren't
Yeah.
gonna eat them alive if he's a little bit off.
I'd like to see how these sell. I'm more interested in the cartoon line. I think those
Mhm.
look great. And I would buy a Marty McFly, but I don't know if I would buy a Biff personally.
Honestly, the only reason I'd buy Biff would be because of he comes with the ooh la la girly
The
mag. Like that just cracks
the
me up.
nudie mag, yeah, it's
Yeah,
in the case too.
right. Like I'm like, you just have that stashed in the corner in one of your shelves, like someone's hiding it in their bedroom or something.
I can just see your diagrams now. Deadpool holding the case with the Ulala
Right? He's
magazine
just
coming
like
out. I
give him
can see it.
some big like giant white anime eyes of him just being overly excited, maybe a little bit of a bloody nose.
Yeah, I'm sure you have some
Um,
binoculars laying around there.
yeah, all sorts of weird accessories. Um, but sticking with NECA, so they also showed off the final packaging for the new Halloween 2 2-pack with Lori and Dr. Loomis. Lori is in a soft goods hospital gown, and Dr. Loomis has a soft goods suit and trench coat. Both come with pistols. The doc has an alternate hand with a lighter, and the final accessory they come with is a pumpkin skull. The 2-pack ships also supposedly this month. It's $64.99. Big Bad Toy Store is already sold out of this. However, I believe
Hmm.
like Entertainment Earth and a few other sites still have them. But it's also going to probably be hitting like Targets because I can't imagine a horror figure not landing in the Target NECA section. That's like 90% of the real estate.
Yep. So what do you
I
think
don't know about you, but I'm
about
not like
them?
a. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, what do you think about them?
I'm. I've. I don't remember a lot of the Halloween movies because I've only seen most of them once, and that I don't even think I've seen all of them to be honest.
Yeah.
So like I don't have any recollection of this, like what they're depicting at all. Um, I do think it's funny that he comes with like he of the whole set, neither of them come with different heads or hands, except for the doctor comes with a hand of a lighter.
Hmm. Yeah, Dr. Loomis is a big character in the show, and his toy looks great. I think Lori's toy looks a little off.
NECA seems to have a little bit of issues when it comes to the ladies. Like they can't seem to get it just right, which makes
I
me
agree with you.
real curious to see how they do.
Starlight.
No, I was thinking April O'Neil, the movie one.
Oh yeah, the movie one because they already ruined the cartoon one.
Yeah, the cartoon one, like she was too short, her proportions were all off. It's a whole weird scenario of that. So real curious to see what they do with the real life one.
Well, Casey kind of has like girl hair, so Casey looked fine except the arms.
True. I mean, granted, also you don't see his face, so
True.
and I feel like that's the thing that they mess up most with these NECA figures is they completely just murder it on the face or their hair looks like a wig. It's like one or the other.
Or in Lori's case, both.
Yeah, true. Um, but that is not all for NECA this week. So they showed off the next edition in the 2-packs for the Target exclusive Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle line. It is Roadkill Rodney, which you get two of, and a Triceraton Infantryman. And personally, I'd expect to see these hit stores in the next like week or two, just because Trog and Granator are already hitting, and they weren't supposed to hit till October.
Yep.
Which brings us back to what we were talking about before, where NECA's kind of not mentioning dates anymore for these, which is real weird, but kind of makes sense because they got just murdered on
Oh
Twitter
yeah.
for weeks on end over those dates.
It was a rough summer for them. I mean, they made a lot of money, but it was a rough
Oh, yeah.
summer for them.
And I still notice because they keep saying that the Splinter and Stockman 2-pack is supposed to be in Wave 4 as well, but he's not depicted on the back of the box. Like, the back of the box just has the Trog and Granator, a second set of Triceratons, and then Metalhead.
Maybe it's not coming.
I mean, Randy keeps like spouting out on Twitter that it's coming this year. He keeps
said,
saying that and the Krang android body are still set to come this fall.
He said a few weeks ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, that he had 4 to 6 more sets coming out.
Mm-hmm.
So that's got to be one of them.
It has to be because they
Maybe
had
it's
said
just
they have
not on the
one that
pack
they haven't
sheet.
announced for Christmas. That's gonna be a big one, a big boy purchase. And then they only have one more movie 2-pack besides Taka and Razor.
And they got Krang's android body coming out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure. Like
They're announcing stuff at New York Comic Con here at the beginning of October, so we'll see. Maybe that's where the rest of them are going to be announced.
maybe they'll officially announce them then, or maybe it comes back to again they don't want to get murdered on Twitter, so they're just like, we're gonna show it to you the week it's coming out. And
Are you picking? Are you picking that up? The Roadkill Rodney?
Nah.
Yeah.
I
They fuck those guys. They sucked in the video games.
I honestly, aside from Krang's android body and maybe another diorama or vehicle, I think I'm pretty good on the animated turtles at this point. Like, I don't need all the 3 billion side characters. I've got kind of the ones that really stood out to me as a kid and even now, and I'm kind of content.
If they made more of like a comic accurate Triceraton, I would
Dude.
probably buy that because I don't like the bright color of the Triceraton or like how like it's a dinosaur. It shouldn't have like smooth skin. So I think they honestly
He
look
moisturizes.
silly. Yeah. I think they look silly, but if they made like a comic accurate Triceraton, I'd be all about it.
I'm not gonna lie, if NECA decided to tackle comic accurate figures in general, I'd take my money. I would kill to finally get some like current day IDW turtles in figure form. That would be incredible. I do think it's funny. One of the Triceratons has like little like condom cup things on his his horns. He's like, all of you peasants, you go raw dog in it. I walk around with these to protect my horns.
I mean, they're smart. They're going to sell a ton of these. Like they sell a ton of the foot soldiers because people are going to want to build a Triceraton army.
Yeah, I couldn't. How much real estate do you have to be able to army build Triceratons? Like, they're big. They're big boys. Like they aren't gonna be like the foot soldiers where they're kind of skinny and you can pack them into a small space.
Yeah, maybe some people have dedicated rooms.
I mean, I do too, but even my
I know,
dedicated room ain't got that much real estate. Moving on from NECA though, so Beast Kingdom announced the Nightmare Before Christmas dynamic. Always screw this up. I don't know if it's 8 action or just action with an 8. I don't know. Anyway, Action Heroes Santa Jack. He comes with 4 head sculpts, 5 pairs of hands, a Santa bag, a Santa hat, a Santa beard, and a display stand. He's $64.99 on Big Bad Toy Store and will ship in February of 2021. So, not gonna lie, this may be one of the coolest Sniper Before Christmas figures I've ever seen.
Yeah. I have quite a bit of Night Before Christmas toys because my kids love the show or love the movie, and I love the movie. We take them to the theaters and anytime it comes by, and I gotta own this one. It looks awesome.
Right? Like, especially with the like all the different heads and then the fact that you can like remove the beard and everything.
He reminds me of the original Jack Skellington Night Before Christmas toy that came out when the movie came out. I have that one, and he has a cloth outfit, and he's built real thin and almost fragile looking, and it looks just like that. And that's my favorite Night Before Christmas toy. So I'm probably going to pick this one up.
That's one thing I am hoping, because this seems like it's a little bigger, that he won't look as fragile. Because like I've seen the figures you're talking about before.
Mhm.
Like they had an entire line of them, and I always looked at them like that's gonna fall and just like snap into pieces. Like I'd be terrified to be an out of box collector of that.
It's in my kid's toy room somewhere, probably getting broken. That's fine.
Yeah, so keep an eye out for that this upcoming February. So something I want to address. Last week, as I mentioned on the show, it was just a straight dumpster fire. There was some technical difficulties. Jamar had his kid, so I recorded later than usual. I was solo, no co-hosts, and because of this meant some things that would have been saved for the news this week because they would have happened after we normally record made it into the show and some didn't. And I missed some things, and some people decided to point it out. So to those people, here it is, the Mafex Psylocke figure based on the comic book version of the character. She is set to release in August of 2021-ish, because Mafex is pretty much, to be announced until it shows up at your door, and is available for pre-order on Big Bad Toy Store for $104.99. She will include 2 head sculpts, 6 energy effects, 2 katanas, 2 scabbards, or sword sheaths for those of us that are peasants and don't know what that is. A accessory that's the katanas inside of the scabbards, so it's like in their crossed. And then 3 pairs of hands and a display stand. So a lot of people are excited for this because even though Marvel Legends kind of already did this a couple times and it turned out really well, no one's really nailed Psylocke the way that people want them to. And everyone's like, this is the definitive Psylocke figure. The only thing missing would be the energy butterfly to go around her face. And I'm not gonna lie, they might be right because it's a really well done figure. Like, if I was gonna deep dive into the X-Men to that level, I'd be all for it.
Yeah, it's a good looking toy. Did you say $104.99 though?
$104.99. Yeah, Mafex don't play.
What the hell? Oh, I mean, it's a good looking figure, but holy moly, that's Jamar money.
No, that's sitting Jamar's cart money.
That's Jamar cart money that he looks at and then has buyer remorse before he buys it.
Yep. um, it still looks really, really cool though, and I mean,
Yeah.
it's on point with the price point of a Mafex figure. I mean, the Hush Batman was, I think, about 95 or 100. The Dark Knight Returns Batman that is supposed to be releasing sometime this month or next month or eventually, that one, it was, I believe, at 100 or 105. So she's pretty on par, and with the articulation and the detail and the accessories, like, you get a lot for the money. But it's one of those things where you really have to be a Psylocke fan, or you really want to flesh out your X-Men team for that to be a big boy purchase.
I may need to take away my toy card or whatever because I've never heard of them, and I'm just now kind of digging through what they have available. Holy fuck, this is a beautiful Cyclops.
Right? They've done
Oh my
Cyclops. They have a
god.
couple Wolverines. I believe Jamar actually pre-ordered. They did or are doing a Miles Morales from the Into the Spider-Verse movie, and he's got like soft goods like hoodie and gym shorts that you can like remove, and then he's just wearing his costume. They do a lot of like really cool stuff.
Yeah, I'm really impressed. I'm about to put a lot of these in Jamar's cart.
And just hope that maybe one day his wife will be like, yeah, why aren't you hitting checkout?
Why did you buy Wes a Cyclops and a Hush Batman? Beautiful.
And he'll be like, I don't know. I don't recall that being there when I hit checkout. It just showed up one day.
Cool stuff, man.
Moving on from the beautiful figures that are from Mafex to another company from across the pond, Tamashii Nations released kind of. So they have these like preview books where they have solicitations, but they're all in Japanese, so you can't tell what the hell they're saying, unless you obviously speak Japanese or can read Japanese. But
there you
go. Someone scanned it, and there are pictures now of the Star Wars Heavy Infantry Mandalorian. And There's no pre-orders or anything. People, based on translations, are expecting it February 2021. They already did, I think, 2 versions of The Mandalorian now, so it's kind of nice to see that they're expanding into more territory of that show instead of just being like, here's the main character and every version that you'll ever see of him.
What does he have does that character have a jetpack yet? The Mandalorian, like the main one?
I believe so. I believe the second one they did, because they did one where it's just the first like version of him.
Yeah.
Then they did his Beskar armor, and I think they included a jetpack in that one.
No, because he's gonna have it this season coming up, so you know
Yeah.
that toy's coming.
I mean, it's honestly with figure arts, I can tell you just from Dragon Ball Z figures alone, they will release 8 different versions of the same character and just update the sculpts so that way it's like this one looks better, has better articulation, and here's an extra accessory. Give us even more money, and we all will.
True.
So moving on from figure arts, Hasbro Pulse has their convention. Hasbro, well, PulseCon, I think is what it's called. Taking place this week/weekend, mostly Friday and Saturday. So most of the announcements won't hit until the show is already done being recorded and in the process of being edited. So we will be talking about them next week. However, that does not keep them out of the news. So we do have a couple pieces of news here. The first has to do with their Star Wars lines. So this was actually something that went up earlier in the week before PulseCon even started. They put out new Black Series 6-inch figures from The Mandalorian, and it's the concept art, essentially. So each of them are kind of the same color scheme as they were in the concept art. For the most part, they're just re-releases of the same figures, just repainted, for anyone who's wondering. But each one was kind of exclusive to a different retail site. There was a couple on Amazon, a couple on Target. I think there was one on like Walmart or something. It was a hot mess. No one knew who was where, and fans were not happy. And some of the characters, obviously the Mandalorian himself, sold out pretty instantly, and people were pissed. But I mean, it's still a really cool set. The set consisted of the Mandalorian, the heavy artillery Mandalorian, IG-11, Cara Dune, and Imperial Death Trooper. Each one of them come with an Imperial credit, like a little like replica, and they are named accordingly because they're being called the Credit Collection. However, I strongly believe it's more likely they're named this because you'll have to get a new line of credit to buy them all on eBay.
Yeah, ain't that true?
Yeah, honestly, I'm a little sad I was late to the party. I know a few weeks back I actually discussed that I was done with Star Wars, the figures. I was getting rid of mine and I wasn't going to collect them anymore. But that Mandalorian from the concept art looks really cool. Like those colors just really pop, and I'm like, oh. And the
I haven't
vintage
even
card,
seen
like,
it. Yeah,
it should be
I
in
have no idea what it looks like.
it should be in the drive file I sent you.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah. Assuming
I'll have
that
to look
ever
for it.
sent. Here, I'll resend it just in case.
Yeah, I've just been Googling all the photos.
Oh, yeah, must not have sent
But
the first time. So
while we're talking
riveting
about
audio, people.
Mandalorian, now that we're talking about Mandalorian, while you do that, I don't own any Star Wars toys. I just have never found like a thrill or a want or a need. But I think Mandalorian is so good that I regret not buying like the Black Series Mandalorian. And I see they have like a silver one coming out for a Black Series label. It looks like pre-orders up coming out in January 2021. That looks pretty good. But I
Yeah.
want to see what this one you're talking about is.
So I just resent it, so hopefully it comes through. Should just be the folder of all the images for everything we've been
there it
talking
is.
about.
Yeah, I see it. Perfect. Yeah, Mandalorian toys are awesome.
Yeah, and with Mandalorian though, also it feels like you could almost jump into that collection and just do that show without feeling obligated to be like, oh, well, I can't just do one of the movies. I have to do all the movies, kind of thing. Because it feels like its own separate thing that's just kind of there, but still technically attached to the main story and timeline.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. That's a cool toy.
Yeah, I just really like the way the colors pop on it, but It was on Amazon and it sold out pretty much instantly. And I've been afraid to look to see what people are trying to sell it for on eBay.
The toy game, man, it's like sneakers now. It's a
Oh,
hard thing
yeah,
to be in.
especially if it goes on retail sites. Like if it goes on like an actual like manufacturer's site, you might have a chance because they can finagle things and cancel bot orders and stuff like that. Retail sites don't give a shit. They got their money.
Yeah, it's kind of bad right now.
Yeah, but that's not all from Star Wars with Hasbro. So they also announced some new carbonized versions of the 3 3/4 inch vintage figures from The Mandalorian as well. We've got The Mandalorian, a Remnant Stormtrooper, Cara Dune, and an Imperial Death Trooper. These ones, like, pretty much just look like smaller versions and releases of figures that they've already done, just with slightly different paint jobs. If you're into the 3 3/4 line, this is probably great news to you because they have kind of been neglecting that line for a while. Like they've had a few things come out here and there and some releases, but nothing crazy.
Kenner's just printing money right now.
Right? Like
Like I don't know how we're out of change as a nation because like Kenner is holding it all.
I mean that is how we're out of change as a nation.
Man,
It's all just in their backyard.
I mean, between re-releases and all these new Star Wars figures, they got the Ghostbuster ones that I had to have, and they're going to be announcing more this Saturday at 10 a.m. Not that I have an alarm set for that or anything, but it's just Kenner's killing it, man. Just like they killed it back when we were kids. I loved Kenner toys. They're some of my favorite. Like I have all the Ghostbuster and Beetlejuice figures, and it makes me now want to buy more because nostalgia.
Exactly. That they know what they're doing because that's all you need is nostalgia, and people will buy it up. And people who
Absolutely.
know you'll buy it up will buy it up and sell it to you for more.
I really want that IG-11 toy.
If I was going to deep dive into the Mandalorian stuff, I'd almost rather get the Figuarts version because he comes with the sack to put on him to hold the baby Yoda, the child.
Oh, that's awesome.
And so I'm like, that might be a better option than nothing against the Hasbro one. Hasbro does great work, but I mean, they couldn't give us a sack to hold a small alien goblin baby. Then what's the point, right?
Exactly. I was just thinking that.
Yeah, I mean that's a common knowledge thing, right? So the last piece of news for today and regarding Hasbro PulseCon, they finally put up the exclusive figures that they announced back at Comic-Con up on their website for pre-order and order. It's real murky. Some of them have release dates for later in the year and next year, and some don't have them, so I assume they're in stock. The way it worked is if you were a VIP member on Wednesday, you got first dibs. They had a select stock just for you. You spent $50 for your membership. Here you go. And for those of us who are peasants and don't have VIP memberships, Thursday was our day. And honestly, they did it well. I logged on. I added it to my cart. I found the little bus on the CAPTCHA thingy. And then I waited in line to check out, paid, dicked around the site a little bit, and then went back to sleep. Like, it was a real smooth process, in my opinion, especially compared to some of the things we've dealt with. Like, outside of NECA's, 1 week made to order stuff, this was easier than any of the Turtle releases.
And yet people still figure out a way to bitch about it.
Oh, here's so people have been bitching about it all day, like, oh, I couldn't check out, oh, the site kept freezing, this and that, blah, 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 blah. One, even an hour before we recorded this, I checked the site just to see if things were still in stock. 90% of the items that were up for pre-order are still available. So even if the site did have some issues shortly after going up, you had all day. So it's not like you missed out. You literally just crying to cry. If you really want to deal with it, go do a NECA or a Mezco or hell even a Figuarts pre-order for an exclusive and deal with that just mind-numbing misery for 5 seconds and then come back and tell me about how awful your Hasbro PulseCon pre-order experience was. Like it baffles me.
And I think I read from our friend Nate that they're also doing like further orders too. Like if something's sold out, you could still have an opportunity to buy it. Is that right?
I think so, which that might be why some things have dates and some don't. I'm thinking that some things sold out pretty quick, and then they just put them back up for made to order and put like a release date if that's when you'll get it. Which that is what Figuarts did. Figuarts was still a train wreck to get through the site, but after the initial orders set out or sold out, the next 2 days they put up pre-orders where you could just order it and they're gonna come out in December, which I feel like is a good way to do it because it makes it so everyone still gets a chance without it being like, oh, you're gonna kill the market and then no one's gonna want them because they're not collectible anymore. Because guess what? If one thing I've discovered about figure arts, because I did buy those ones, is there's still tons of people who even given 3 days to pre-order did not pre-order and are like,
Same
does
thing.
anyone have this Goku for cost plus shipping? Like, dude, you had 3 days to pre-order this thing.
Same thing with like Toka and Razar. The day it closed, people are like, "Are you going to post it back up?"
Oh,
No.
dude, the when they did that, the best part was I was up late and I was dicking around on Twitter, and literally 3 minutes before the pre-orders closed, someone on Twitter asked them, "Hey, when do these go up for pre-order?" To which Randy replied, "They're up right now. They're going to be coming down at midnight." And then at 12:05, the guy responded, "Oh, damn. I didn't know. I missed it. Are these going to go back up?" And I was like, Jesus, people. Like, the worst part is, this was posted on their Twitter for weeks that they were going to do it. And
Yeah.
then it was on all,
Yeah.
they just kept posting it every day saying, hey, don't. So if you just went on their Twitter and looked down the page instead of just hitting, tweet, you would have saw it and saw the link.
Yeah. So I feel like people crying about the Hasbro PulseCon exclusives is kind of silly. It kind of thinks of like the NECA, right? So NECAs
Mhm.
were so hard to get this summer. So they said, hey, we're going to do something for you. You could pre order it, right? So Hasbro's doing essentially the same thing. Like, hey, we sold out. We're going to put it back up. It's going to launch in February 2021. And people are still bitching about it. Like, they're doing
Yeah.
something for you so you can still get it.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you have to wait 6 months. That's because they have to make more. Because
Yeah.
rather than making you go pay $200 for a Power Ranger on eBay, they're trying to give you a chance to get it for cost plus shipping. So it's one of those things where you're not gonna make everybody happy all the time, despite the fact that you've done nothing wrong. Because I still stand by that was the easiest pre-order I've done all summer.
People
Like,
went crazy for this Power Ranger. That one's sold out.
oh yeah, the Lord Draken. I that was the only one I wanted, and I got it, and I was happy.
Neat.
Yeah, good times with toy collectors.
It's
Um,
it makes me want to cry every night.
oh yeah, and like and some of the toy communities are worse than others. Like I'll tell you right now, the wrestling toy community has gotten so bad that I've almost considered, like, I'm still on the fence about just saying fuck it and getting rid of all my wrestling figures. Like,
What makes
it's
that
just
bad? Like, what are they
it.
doing?
So like the biggest thing right now is, since there's a rival company to WWE for the first time in like 20 years,
Mhm.
they finally come up with a toy line. And this toy line's real iffy. Like, they messed up the skin tone and they have to fix it. And it has a lot more articulation, but the figures look a little wonky. They kind of look more like toys than collectibles.
Mhm.
But if you say anything wrong about these figures, you're a piece of shit and you're just a Mattel mark and you just don't know what you're talking about. Even though the guy who's in charge of the figures said that there's problems with the figures that they're trying to fix.
Oh, jeez.
And then like the biggest retail wrestling figures, Ringside Collectibles, has gotten real bad at marking up their prices on pre-orders, and which for some things makes sense because they do have them like brought in by plane, so they get them before Walmart and Target do. So they normally have like a $5 upcharge for that, which is fine. That's justifiable because you're paying more
That's
to have
fine.
them air mail instead of via freight ship.
No problem.
But like there was some new Ultimate figures that just got announced that are two very popular characters, $30 retail. So you're thinking, okay, I can get them for like 35, and then I'll get them before Walmart and everywhere else. Which I don't know if this is even going to hit retail anymore because there's been a whole issue with that. Um, No, they're charging $45 each for these two figures. And the second you're like, oh man, I'd rather just wait till January than get them a month or two early and pay $15 more. That's eBay markups. People are like, oh, you're stupid. You're gonna miss out, and then you have to pay like $100 each for these and this and that. And it's just like, it's just not. It takes the fun out of it. Like it's getting borderline worse than the Funko collectors, and those are the worst of them all.
Oh my gosh. They are.
Yeah. So we'll see. Time will tell. 'Cause I still love my wrestling action figures, but if the community keeps being pieces of shit like it is, then I may just part ways with them. But that wraps up the news for the week. So on to weekly purchases. And I know, Wes, you mentioned you have some things for show and tell for us.
Yeah, I did. I did recently purchase some stuff that I can show you. You want me to show you now, or do you want to go? All right, let me get my beer out of the way. So first up, I went to a toy store near me. First time I ever been there, and I picked up a Cowboy Mumasa.
Oh, that's cool.
You ever watch that cartoon?
I have not, but I you just showed me a cow in a cowboy suit, and I'm intrigued.
So it's created by I might fuck it up. I think it was like Dan Berger, who was a big Ninja Turtle artist back in the '90s for like the Archie series.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a cartoon that he released, and it's Playmates and all that good stuff. And the toys are cool. It was a fun cartoon. Watch,
I'll have
it's
to check it out.
totally '90s. I don't have the guns though, but I don't care. I been playing a game that I like a lot, and I fell in love with the character, so I picked up a Miss Marvel,
Oh, okay.
the little
I didn't even know that they
Gamerverse
had. I knew they did the Marvel
Hasbro.
Legends, but I didn't know there was any figures beyond that.
Yeah, it's all from the video game series.
Oh, that's cool.
So I picked up her. So she looks like the same one that's in the other packaging, like the Legends packaging,
Mm-hmm.
just cheaper. She was only $10 compared to the other one that's 20. And I don't need, the build a figure because I won't buy the whole series.
But you didn't pick
Uh,
up Hockey Pad Captain America?
I did not. No hockey pad Captain America. I do have Captain America I'm going to show in a second, but not
Oh,
hockey pad Captain America. I'm a huge Spawn fan and I like McFarlane
ooh.
toys. So I did pick up Spawn.
We've talked
This
about
one,
that a few times here on the show.
it's a great figure. I really should open it, but I, I don't know if I should ever open these things. But it comes with a mace. I kind of wanted the one with the sword, but it doesn't matter. It's not gonna haunt me on the shelf. Big Bad Toy Store was actually running a pretty good sale on some Marvel Legends, so I did pick up two of them. I picked up Punisher and Captain America.
Oh yeah, I remember you telling me about those.
Yeah, well, Captain America was only like $10. It was like $11.
That's not bad.
So I couldn't pass that up. I really wanted a nice Captain America figure, and this one took the cake. And I know you have the newer Punisher that just came out from the Legends, right?
No. I
No.
have my Punishers from Mezco.
Oh, okay. Um, I was trying to decide between which Punisher to get, and I've always loved this '90s, '80s outfit that he wears, and
Mm-hmm.
plus I like the red bandana head there.
Yeah, I've always liked more of the just like plain spandex version of him better than like the baggy or like pants and tactical gear.
I agree with that. And then this thing, I didn't actually, I bought this, but I didn't buy it within the past week. I actually bought this when I was a child. But I
Oh,
stopped at my father's house the other day to pick up something for Halloween, and he's like, "Hey, I have all this stuff I want to give you, old comics." I think I gave Jamar a #1 Power Rangers comic because I have like 6 of them, so
nice.
like brand new, like sealed and everything. So because they came in like cellophane, um, but all this cool stuff, and it came with this famous cover series, KB Toys exclusive. So you can tell I did not buy this in the
Ooh,
past
that's
week.
how you know it's old.
It's a Peter Parker Spectacular Spider-Man Spider-Woman set.
Oh, I remember seeing those back in the day.
Yeah, man. Look at that. Look at that. That is
Man, we talked about Neca's job with women. Man, they did not do her justice.
uh, uh, this looks like some like porn parody cosplay. Like I'm Peter Porker or whatever.
But of course, it's spelled like pork her.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Porker. Like it's It's not the
Yeah,
best, but
they've got like they didn't do a very good job making them like skin tight. They look a little baggy.
so toys today are pretty great. We could all admit that these were toys back then. So I don't
Yeah.
know. It's a collector's edition Toy Biz set. I thought it was pretty cool to show.
I mean, that thing looks like it's in it. Like you bought it yesterday. Like it looks like it's in brand new condition. Like that's impressive considering that's
I,
easily got to be like close to like 25 years old.
98. So close. But it's probably worth $3. But it's fine. It's just cool looking. But
I think you unplugged your mic or something.
I did hit my mic. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Yeah, I hit it with this huge.
I saw. I was like, oh, there it goes.
Yeah. I used to own a KB exclusive. I'm pretty sure it's the same company. It had to have been because it looks the exact same. Dennis Rodman.
Oh, okay. I
My
think I
dad
remember
was
seeing those too. Yeah.
my dad was so pissed off that I opened it. He's like, "That's gonna be worth money someday." No, it's Dennis Rodman. It's
Jokes on
not.
him.
Yeah, jokes on him. He's now in North Korea.
I mean, that is how like a lot of things went with my childhood. Like my dad was very much like, "Don't open this; it's gonna be worth money someday." He was wrong about all of them. Um, but it got to the point where essentially my mom was like, "No, if you want this to be a thing, you're going to have to buy two: one for him to play with because he's a child, and one
Yep.
to keep sealed." So I had a lot of doubles of things. Don't know where any of the doubles ever went. Um, but that was one thing I did have is like for those weird like half doll, half action figure things. I had
Yep.
Wolverine and I think Dark Phoenix. I remember having as
That's
a kid.
awesome. Spoiler alert: your dad sold them already.
Probably he probably took
When
them
you're
to a
still
pawn shop
young.
and made like $5 off them.
I didn't know you grew up with Jamar money. Buying
Oh,
two
dude,
of
yeah.
each figure.
I definitely grew up with Jamar money. It was I had all the turtles, all the Batmans, like all the 37 different costumes that he never actually
Yeah.
wore.
It's crazy because I had all of those too. Like I have almost a complete turtle set right now of every single Playmates toy ever released. There's only a few that I'm missing. It's because
Mhm.
I refuse to spend like $400 on a toy. So I think it's like I don't know 8 that I'm missing altogether. But as a kid, I just had that shit in the bathtub. All of them, just in the bathtub.
Yeah.
Like we didn't give a fuck.
Yeah, I mean, so confession time. I had the cartoon turtles, which stayed with all of my like party wagon and all that. And then I had the old like Playmates ones, and I didn't like those ones as much. So those were the bathtub toys for me. I'm like, you're the ugly turtles. We'll keep you in here, separate from everything else.
That's fucked up of you at a young age.
Yeah, well, as you can see, I was a terrible person since day one.
That's true.
So that everything. You ain't got anything else hidden under your desk there?
No.
All right, so I only have 2 weekly purchases, not nearly as much. First one, since we talked about figure arts a lot, I have the Super Saiyan Blue figure arts Goku. I finally pulled the trigger on and bought him. And
Sexy.
then the second one, I had pre-ordered some parts to finish a custom I've been working on, and they finally came in. It was a belt, some holsters, and shoulder pads for my Flashpoint Thomas Wayne Batman Mezco
That's that.
figure.
You sent a picture of that earlier in the Discord. If you're not in the Discord, you should join it. But man, that is a sexy figure.
Right?
Yeah.
And the shoulder pads, I think, are what really do it. Like, try to get it so you can see them just right.
Who
Like,
makes that one?
what's that?
Who makes that one?
So the base figure is Mezco. The parts that I used for the like belt and shoulder pads was from a company called, I think it's Millo Works, is how it's pronounced.
Mm.
They do a lot of different stuff on Instagram, like different holsters and accessories and guns and stuff for 112 scale figures. They do a lot of cool stuff. I'll try to link them in the description so that way people can find them. But they are absolutely awesome. And if you want a closer look, that's gonna be the figure that I'm gonna be on Mondays on Toyfare. So
Oh, I
stay
was just
tuned for
about to
that.
ask you. Yeah. It seems like
Um,
custom stuff when you do reviews do really well. So it's
oh
exciting.
yeah, it definitely seems to intrigue people more when it's like, oh, that's not stock. I like that. But that wraps it up for weekly purchases. So I do want to take a moment to remind everybody about our giveaway, like I do every week. Once we hit 350 subscribers, we will give away a first place prize of the NECA Ultimate Metalhead and a second place prize of the merch bundle from the Mutagen Tour. And it comes with an extra large shirt. Oh, and there's the Metalhead, as Wes has his as well. Tote bag, a souvenir ticket, backstage pass, and 4 guitar picks. All you have to do is subscribe to the channel. And then you can either go to the Twitter or the Instagram, and there's a post. You either have to share the post on your page, not on your story, because I can't track it once it disappears on your story. But you have to either share the post or you have to retweet the tweet with the hashtag ModernToyFair100. It's ModernToyFair100 because originally we were doing 100 subscribers, but then we got the extra Metalhead to give away, so we bumped it up a little bit to kind of spice things up, but we want to make sure everyone's entries still count. So again, retweet or share the post with hashtag ModernToyFair100, and then subscribe to the channel. Hell, if you want, make 1,000 Gmails and just subscribe to the channel, and then you'll have less competition to actually win. I don't care. Find a way to make it happen.
That's a good idea. I should do that.
Yeah, I mean, you can make 350 kayfabe accounts and just get us there. Numbers are numbers. YouTube don't care. But that's going to wrap it up for this week's Modern Toy Fair news. As always, make sure to follow us on Instagram and Twitter. Jamar obviously isn't here to pimp out all of his good fun stuff, but make sure to check out Why Are You a Gamer over at Media Junkie. I'm not sure if he still has new episodes coming out, but he has a huge backlog of episodes where he's talking with different people about why they enjoy video games, what made them become a gamer, and what kind of games they like. It's always a fun conversation. Both me and Wes have been on the show, and I think he can attest that it's a lot of fun and definitely a good listen. His head shake says it all.
Episode 1 right here.
Glowing endorsement from the only Wes Smith.
Well, I didn't know if you wanted me to. I don't know. It's my first time on the show. I don't know if you wanted me to say something, so I was just letting you do your thing. So it's a great show. Check it out.
There you go. I mean, I'm gonna be honest, people. Make sure you tell Jamar that I sent you, because I have to pimp his stuff out so I don't get bitched at for not doing it when he's not on the show. Because apparently he gets free promotions even when he's not here to do his job. You can also catch me over at Media Junkie on the Gimmick Minute Wrestling podcast, where me, Jason, and Kevin pretty much shoot the shit about what's going on in the wrestling world for an hour. Sometimes 2, sometimes 7. Just kind of depends on if we can get each other to stop talking. But if you enjoy wrestling and just want to hear a bunch of dudes ramble, go check it out. As always, you can support the channel by hitting the little link below for tpublic.com. I have tons of shirts, cell phone cases, pillows, even masks with different designs for our logos from both here and Media Junkie on them, or even just random designs I've worked up in Photoshop. So if you click on that and check it out, I greatly appreciate it. Also, make sure to like and subscribe. If you enjoy our faces, hit the little bell to get notified when our videos go up. Modern Toy Fair news will go up on Fridays, and Modern Toy Fair reviews on Mondays. If you don't enjoy staring at our beautiful faces, we do have an audio-only version of Modern Toy Fair news available on Spotify, Anchor, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Pocket Casts, Spotify, and other podcast apps you know and love. So check all that out, and hopefully we'll see you next week. Same toy time, same Toy Fair channel. Thank you for watching.